Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering June 28th to July 4th. We are officially entering the second half of 2020. Woof! I don't know about you, but I am exhausted. It seems like this year has gone by so slow and so fast all at the same time. And one of the messages or one of the things I keep seeing personally is the number 2, which in a lot of ways means have faith, everything's going to be okay, but is also the energy of balance, coming into alignment with your own inner divine masculine, divine feminine energy. And so here's the thing, as you're a spiritual being and you're tapping into new facets of knowledge and wisdom from the divine source, anything that doesn't match that vibration needs to be flushed and cleared out. So we're in a place right now where we have 5 planets retrograde. We did have 6, but Venus just went direct, the planet of relationships and love, which is beautiful. So we have some more clarity. So if you felt a little like moosha moosh on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's why. So, being in tune with what's going on with the planets can really help you understand your moods and your energy. I mean, on this channel, a lot of times I share my own personal experiences because I think it's important. I think it's easy for people on social media unknowingly to paint a picture of all is well and things are so positive and great, and that's just not life. And I think it's important to just kind of share all facets. So that's the kind of teacher I am, being open and honest. And I personally have been on an emotional roller coaster, but the beauty is I have a really great support system. I have a really great team of professionals that can guide me through that. So I pray to be a beacon of light to support you, and I also pray that I ask armies of angels to assist you with bringing in healthy support as you're going through these transformations. Remember, the more light you take in, the more shadow arises to come up and out. This is the spiritual journey. So always know it's not good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative. It's an experience, and I commend you all for showing up in the light, because, your pain and your discomfort and your maybe emotional breakdowns or the anxiety or the frustration and the anger, that is all part of the growth process. We are shifting from this very masculine world we've been living in, this very linear patriarchal system. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of those programs for Earth Angels are becoming outdated. This is why there's this awakening of this divine feminine essence of intuition, magnetism, being receptive, self-aware, tapping into new facets of wisdom. So here's the thing, friends. We live in a world where we really don't need any more information. There's a lot of just regurgitated information that's just being passed around, and it's old. And frankly, I'm over it. So we're being called to wisdom. The planet needs more wisdom, and wisdom can only come from the depths of your own intuition, your own guidance, your own gifts, right? And so this journey that you've been on this first half of 2020 has been clearing out all this stuff so that you can access deep levels of your spiritual power. For those of you who've been following me a long time, I'm sure you see that I've been on quite a transformation as myself and a journey myself, and I'm still here 13 years later and evolving and growing, and I pray to be able to take all my challenges and my experiences and being able to share that with you. The beauty is, I get to work with a lot of young women in their early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, 40s, 50s, all the facets of the age groups. And especially with the younger women, I get to share my knowledge and wisdom and insight so that you guys can surpass, so that you can grow past where I am at my young prime 41 years old. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing this work. Thank you. I know a lot of Earth Angels can struggle with self-esteem, worth, and value, but I really pray that these messages come across to show you really how powerful you are, that you are the leaders of the light, even though you don't feel like it, even though we feel like out of sorts or you don't fit in with the world. You've come here to be different, to align in a different vibration. So I feel like for this next half of 2020, with all this purging that you've been doing, that you're going to be able to access deeper levels of wisdom. Remember, this is wisdom that has been held sacred in the divine world for a long period of time, and it's only going to come to people who are holding it sacred. And if you're guided to this channel, I have no doubt you are. So I just want to say too, I want to thank you for sharing me with your family, your friends, your moms, your dads, your husbands, your wives, your friends. A lot of my business is referral based, and it is such an honor for me to be able to work with your families in the way that I have. So I'm still offering coaching sessions online. Realistically, I have 2 spots left for coaching, and I'm always available for divine guidance if you want to pop in, see what's available on my calendar. Right now I'm still doing video chats. I did just launch my subscription program, so I'm going to do my first Zoom meetup for those who have signed up on Monday night at 7, and I'm going to be talking about the Divine Mother. So those of you who are signed up for the subscription program, I will email you a link to my Zoom and you can log in. And for those of you who can't make it, I will record it and post the recording on the page and email. I'll have to kind of get a feel for what you guys prefer, what's easier for you. So I appreciate those who have signed up, who are having patience as I kind of get into a groove into the dynamics and technology of the of the work. So let me begin. I'm going to be working with my Archangel animal cards. I've been so drawn to these cards lately. I've been really loving them. They're beautiful messages. So I'm going to start with this, then get additional messages from Nature's Whispers. Then I'm going to tap into, these are the Butterfly Oracle for life changes. We'll check in with your transformation and see what the angels have to say about that. And then an action card with the Flower Therapy Oracle. And then finally, an overall message from your soul. Your soul's journey is going through quite a lot right now. So we're going to tap into your soul and see what messages they have, your soul has for you, your soul vibration. All right, so let me start here. Open up space, invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, God source, creator of the universe, the divine mother energy, Holy Spirit, and all their holy beings of light who would like to assist with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, Archangel Animal, what is the most important message you need to hear, see, feel, and know this week? June 28th to July 4th. With this one. All right. Let's begin. Whale. This message came up for a client this week. It's awesome. So the whale medicine says, live as a fully conscious beings. Archangel Mary and Jules. So here's the thing, when whales are incredibly spiritual beings, and it's believed that when they go down into the water and then come up, it's believed that when they blow the water out of their blowhole, I think that's what it's called, they're actually sending divine messages out into the earth, into the planet, and they're sending wisdom out. So here's the thing this week: live as a fully conscious being. Being a fully conscious being can be challenging. It can feel really uncomfortable because it's kind of like so the ego, if you can think of the ego, it's like a container to keep you safe. But I call it kind of like the ego can be like fear love. When, that parent says, oh, don't do this because this can happen, or don't do that because that can happen. And it's coming from a place of love, but it's like also instilling fear in your vibration. And so you're in a process that you're growing past this comfort zone, this container that you've been in. And the thing is, the ego can be a really beautiful navigator when you're consciously aware and aligned and connected. And it can be a navigator, kind of like a compass for you to see where you're at on your journey. I personally, these last couple of days have been feeling out of sorts and uncomfortable, and my emotions have just kind of been high and low. And I'm like, what is that? And multiple cards that I had gone to was guiding me to do shadow work, to go in and do to connect with my own ghosts, connect with my own darkness. And it was like the divine feminine calling me back within. And I kind of didn't want to hear the message, but I took it because it repeated itself over and over for a couple days. I'm like, okay, so it required me to just stop everything that I was doing and go lay down and listen to my body, listen to my higher self. And I have a friend who does really beautiful spiritual work too, and she was guided to ask her body, what messages of love does it have? So the inquiry question is, what messages of love do you have for me? And this is what she would ask her body. And then she also mentioned that you could do it for your higher self, like, what messages of love do you have for me? So here's the thing, whale medicine is sending out divine messages to the planet. Remember, this is the wisdom that I was talking about. And in a lot of ways, you can really only access it through your feminine energy, through your feminine power. And this is why that energy has been demonized and suppressed for so long, because it really is uncontrollable with what comes up. And there really is no rhyme or reason. So it can actually be scary for people. And a lot of you are really a lot of you are really working through what is ego intuition or guidance and what is the depth of spiritual wisdom. These spiritual communities, they're because understanding the ego and awakening to the programs and the belief systems is part of the spiritual journey. Sometimes spiritual communities can get inundated with that yucky energy, and it can get manipulative and controlling. And this isn't a judgment, it's an observation of what I've seen. And so this isolation in this sacred space that we've been in is for you to really know and understand what actually is intuitive guidance and what is ego. And if you're constantly on social media, or you're constantly connected to the news, you're constantly listening to outside external energies, what will happen is your own intuition can get distorted with the repetitive messages that are coming from the 3D world. So, when we talk about quarantine, we talk about isolation, we connect with solitude and going within and the darkness. There's a sacredness to it. There's a part of you in that gets to know yourself really well, which requires a level of stillness, which requires a level of being alone with yourself and all facets. So understand that living as a fully conscious being, going through that process and staying woke, quote unquote, staying woke or staying awake, it can be really hard to see, feel, hear, and experience, and know that, so that knowing that within your body and really soothing that inner child, saying we're safe, this is part of our journey, God's got our back. And this is where having that divine connection with the divine mother and the divine father, or mother and father love, having that beautiful sacred connection with these beautiful spiritual parents, right, in the universal vibration, being able to know that they are with you. The Divine Mother Love is nurturing you, and she's also got to show you some things that you may be ignoring. And then the Divine Father Love energy wants to protect you, wants to hold you sacred, wants to provide for you. And again, this isn't power and control over you. This is so that you can fulfill your mission, your destiny, your soul journey on this planet. And so many of us are starting to align. So many of us are starting to align with sacred energies and new soul groups and new dynamics. Now, the blessing for quarantine and the lockdown for me was, it got me out of the office, and it gave me an opportunity to connect with people all over the country and then people outside of this country. And so I'm connecting with more people that I'm aligned with, and that they're aligned with me. And we're creating this sacred community and network of vibration of healing each other through support, mutual exchanges of energies, rather than just me being in a space of overgiving, oversharing, overdoing, overloving. There's been this mutual energy, which is empowering, right? So it's been amazing to see how this energy is unfolding as I stand in my discomfort as being a conscious being. When I don't know and understand something, I go to the divine and I ask the divine for assistance. God, show me what I need to know about this. Show me the best way that I can pray for this. Show me what your understanding of this experience, of this vibration, of this transformation. And actually helps me create a deeper bond with the divine. And you're all on your own path. You're all on your own journey, and it has to come in your own way. But understand that you don't have to do it alone. You're recreating a new network and a vibration and assistance. And so many of you out there, if you resonate masculine or feminine energy, you are healers, you are intuitives, you are medicine men and women, you were spiritual leaders, prophets in other lifetimes that had been persecuted, that had been suppressed, that had been demonized by this very harsh system. And now we live in a world where we can awaken to this and feel safe. And you may not know it when you come to this channel, but there are more and more people who are aligned with your ways of thinking. And as you embrace it, I want to say take the bull by the horns, and as you embrace it and you step into your full power, it'll be like you'll attract those groups and those paradigms and those systems and the knowledge and wisdom that the planet so desperately needs right now. Okay, so what additional messages from Nature's Whispers? Whale medicine, what additional messages do you have? I just heard once you're woke, you can't go back. Or it's like a Pandora's box. Once you're awakened, there's no going back, which is a beautiful thing. It's once you see something, you can't not see it. So yes, let love be your beacon. This was one of the cards this week for my subscription group on Facebook. And this has kind of been an overall theme, right? When we live in love, when we live in the connection of all those that want to bring joy to the planet, let love be your beacon. So here's the thing. I know in the beginning half of the year, we talked a lot about addictions, addictive tendencies, addictive behaviors. Maybe it's drama, maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's escapism, maybe it's being caught up in other people's drama. So here's the thing, addictions, all different kinds of addictions. It could be drugs, alcohol, food, all these addictions. What they do is it numbs pain, but it also shuts down the heart chakra. And if love is your pathway, if self-love and nurturing and self-empowerment, confidence, self-esteem, worth, and value, if that is your true power, it needs to come through the crown chakra, right? The divine needs to come through your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, into your heart. And from your heart, it radiates out. And so if there's any levels of anger or resentment or bitterness, or if there's these shadow emotions that have been coming up for the collective in these for 6 months, what's happening is that pain needs to come out. So I was working with a client this week who was really challenged with a breakup. And, this isn't uncommon. A lot of people are going through relationship transformations. And, his question was, well, what do I do when the pain comes up? What do I do when the loneliness comes up? What do I do when I'm crawling out of my skin? And my guidance for him was be with it. Instead of going for a walk, doing something, trying to suppress it, experience it. And then sit with the pain and the discomfort and allow it to speak to you. Allow it to give you messages of guidance. And it's not something we're taught. We're taught to suppress and move on. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself distracted. And what happens is it may be a temporary fix for you, but it really doesn't get to the root and to the core. And so your pain is your power, and being able to embrace it and not judging it, not projecting your energy on somebody else. They did this to me, the victim energy, stuff like that. Being able to recognize that and being, whoa, let me pull back here. And the reason why, like I said, I've been on this emotional roller coaster myself, obviously with the new moon being in Cancer and all this emotional energy coming up, and me being so dominant in the Cancer energy. I've had to do that myself. I've had to sit with the pain. I've had to process it, and through that, as uncomfortable I become more empowered within my own self, within my own vibration, to be able to be assertive in this world, to be able to set boundaries, to know who I am, what I like and what I don't like. So I feel like the message here is like heart chakra work this week, and working with heart energy, heartache, betrayal, any dynamics of relationships as Venus goes direct. Here we have the number 42, 4 plus 2 equals 6. 6 is family energy, it's home energy, it's nurturing energy. So how can you soothe and not shut down, and not go into going to the external to fill you, to fix you, save you, change you, and make you better? How can you embrace it and be with it and transform your pain into your power? All right, so speaking of pain into power, transition. These are for life changes. So what butterfly message does the divine have for you this week regarding your transformation, regarding your life changes and transformation? Let's see here. It's the most important message they need you to hear, see, feel, and know. I love it. Let me just pause a moment. Whew. So, this is what you're going through. And like I said, I love to bring gentleness and love and maternal energy to these readings to soothe you. But I also think it's important to share, like, not everything is unicorns and rainbows. And I think most of you who are watching this channel, you know that and understand that. And I think this is why it's so empowering to speak of the shadow and how we can go into it and learn from it, right? It's the yin yang energy. You can't have light without shadow and shadow without light. It's a way of growth. And so I believe a lot of you right now, as we go into the second half of 2020, you're now empowered in knowing and understanding your own shadow and light energy. And as you can be present with it, and this may require you pulling back from people and responsibilities, and this might require you cocooning yourself for a little bit longer. Now, I don't mean like becoming a hermit and not going out at all. I mean, having relationships and going out into the world will also help you. It brings me back to that message my therapist gave me was, it's easy to be enlightened on top of the mountain, right? So when we get in this sacred space and feel amazing, we want to stay there, and it's easy to slip into that hermit mode or that cocoon and not wanting to come out. So understanding that, the universe is pushing on you, right, to in a loving way, so that you can grow and expand. I said this many times at the end of last year, that God is getting ready to turn that key and activate his stormtroopers, activate his beings of light. And it's happening now. You guys are being activated. It's like you can't ignore a lot of this stuff. This is why I believe a lot of you are guided to this channel, because it's new knowledge and wisdom and insight that you feel connected to, that you feel truth. Now, I'm not saying I'm the be all and the end all by any means. The divine speaks to us in fragments, right? Everybody receives different parts of information. Not one person gets all facets, right? But as we evolve and spiritually grow, we're downloaded with more and more knowledge and wisdom. And God sees your desire to want to be a beacon of light in the world, to want to help people intuitively and do healing work and natural medicine and holistic nursing. And God sees your desire to want to do this. But like I said, that when we're deep in the 3D world, it can seem overwhelming. It can seem and appear impossible. And so know that connecting with your own wisdom and your own spiritual rituals, traditions, disciplines, whatever you want to call it, will help you to move through that stage of wanting to just close the door and not go out. I think anxiety is being activated within people, and questions and curiosities is, as you're awakened, you're starting to see the cycles and the patterns and the rhythms, and this is a big part of the work that I do. I do shadow work. I'm able to see the unseen, but it doesn't come in a way where I tell people what to do. I kind of shine a light on their own patterns and their own rhythms, right, and cycles, because once you see it, once it's in the light, you can't not see it, and you can grow from there. So you're growing more in love, and it requires a level of vulnerability. It requires a level of openness. It requires a level of depth with the spiritual, with the divine, the unseen world. So many of you have gone through major health challenges, financial changes, career and work unfulfillment, really challenging divorces and breakups. And know that, I say this often, once you know and once you can really resonate with that life is working for you and not against you, everything changes, right? So I feel like I'm guided to share with some of you are tired. Some of you, I feel like you need some rest or some sleep or some stillness, and that might be an odd thing for you. Rest may only be for you at bedtime, like when you wind down to go to bed. The feminine energy needs more rest, requires more levels of stillness. Unfortunately, we live in a world that's programmed and groomed us from childhood, from basically out of the womb, to learn, to acquire information, to grow in this world, compete against time and responsibilities and stuff. And so some of you, I feel like your challenge will be learning how to get rest intermittently throughout the day, to be more balanced and grounded. A lot of you know this information. A lot of you can intellectualize this information. You're like, I know. And this is why I believe that the messages always are repetitive. I mean, I have many different decks, and a lot of the same messages come out because the divine knows that we need to hear things and experience things over and over and over again before it resonates. I mean, if you think about that very linear world with mathematics, right? When you're a child, you learn your multiplication tables, or you learn your addition and subtraction tables by saying it rotely over and over and over again, right? So the thing is, if you're in your head and you're like, I know, what's happening is you haven't fully anchored it. You haven't fully brought it from like the intellectual part of you. You haven't fully brought it down into your heart, down into your body, and anchored it into the earth. This is why the earth is calling you, saying, come back to me, bring it into your body. And it requires a level of feeling, right? So for masculine energies, your feeling, your intuition is those gut instincts, those impulses that come from your gut, which is fire. It's like a pull. For feminine energies that connect with the feminine dominant energies, your intuition is in your heart and your physical body. So if you're doing intuitive work and you're all in the head, it's most likely ego work and conditioning from what the world says how you need to operate and what you need to do. You know, when you drop down into your heart, it goes into this abyss. It goes into, intuition is if I can describe it in words, it's like going into this abyss of emptiness, of nothingness, of calm, of just a knowing that this is truth. It's not frantic, it's not chaotic, it's not desperate, it's not projecting, it's not telling anybody what they have to do or what they should do. It's not any of that. A lot of spiritual intuitives, they're really working in fifth dimensional energy, which carries a vibration of positive, like dark and light, right? So there can be manipulative energy that people are connecting with. This is why I always open up space. And when I open up space, my intention is going to the seventh plane of existence, to the seventh dimension. That is where creator is. And so I imagine when I open up space, my energy going down into the earth, connecting to my diamond and crystal at the center of the earth. And then I imagine energy going up through my body, through my heart, through our third eye, crown chakra, all the way up to the seventh plane of existence, God most high of the universe. And for me, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of nothingness. It's a feeling of emptiness. It's a feeling of pure bliss, pure peace. And that's how I know I'm there. And so a lot of you are being asked to break past the ceiling of fifth dimension. But there's these wayward energies and there's these manipulative energies that can really distort your perception. And we're being asked to break the ceiling, to be able to go past that right now. And I think this is why it's important to share this, because some of you might be like, why do I keep struggling with this? Why does this keep happening? Or, you know, I'm so confused. And this is a big reason why I launched the subscription program, because, you know, those of you who are ready, willing, able, and open, and, you know, I want to talk about this stuff more. I want to create a community of people to know that you're not alone, and that, you know, your feelings of loneliness, sadness, your feelings of confusion, frustration, anger, resentment is actually normal. And sadly, it's normal. And there is a way out. And there's always a reason why, and there's skills, and it's repetitive for, you know, a lot of people. There's a pathway to it, but not everybody's ready for it. And this is why I think this information is so sacred, that it's only going to call the people who are ready to do the work on the spiritual growth and open up their heart chakra even more so. All right. Flower therapy. What action steps can you take June 28th to July 4th? Spiritual growth. Additional message. There's 2 here. Let's move these up. First one. Oh gosh, friends. I know, more time for yourself. Tulips, beautiful energy. It says enjoy relaxation activities that nurture your soul. Oh gosh, I haven't completely finished my coffee yet. Enjoy relaxation activities that nurture your soul. I was able to go to the beach the other day, and with the social distancing, it was actually really nice to be up at the beach and have space around me, to be able to listen to the ocean waves, and the water was beautiful, and the day was gorgeous, and it was so crazy. I was sitting there, and I happened to look up at the sky, and my sunglasses on, and there was a beautiful circle rainbow around the sun, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so magnificent. How come nobody's seeing this? How nobody's catching this? And I just kept looking up, and I'm like, and I took off my sunglasses, and I put my sunglasses back on, and I took them off again, I put them back on, and it just felt like, God, here I am with time with myself, with all these people around, and I'm receiving this blessing, this gift. And for me, it reminded me of the sun, of the warm, masculine energy, the divine creator, the circle of life. And I was just kind of receiving it. It was my birthday, and I just felt like the divine was showing me this magic. And I'm looking around, I'm like, am I the only one that sees this? How come nobody? And it kind of really made me think that, not everybody looks up, not figuratively and like literally. It made me realize how common and natural looking up for me, like looking up God, saying my prayers, asking for assistance, looking up in the sky, where most people are really in that sleeper world, which again, it's not good or bad, right or wrong. We've all been there, but we're kind of coming out of that. So when you take time for yourself, away from distraction, away from people pulling at you, you'll be able to see things that you wouldn't necessarily see with everything that's pulling at you, all the responsibility. So here's why this can help you with deeper levels of love. And I have to say, in that moment, I loved the earth so much more. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. I've got the gift of the sun. I've got the gift of sand in my toes. I got the gift of the ocean, and the sky is miles and miles and miles as far as I could see. And it was just heaven for me. So and it was crazy because I almost didn't go. I'm almost like, do I want to go on the road? Do I want to get up early? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm so grateful I did. So here's the thing is, like, when we were talking about hermit mode earlier, you don't necessarily have to isolate in your home. You can take time for yourself and commit to being present amongst other people. Maybe it's going for a hike and sitting in nature. Like maybe it's going for a hike and then finding a spot. Maybe it's going to a park and then finding a spot, and then asking the divine to speak to you, right? Being open and receptive to that energy in the earth. Sorry, I just got distracted. Being able to sit and find a spot and being able to receive. Remember I was talking about earlier, sorry, I just got distracted. Remember I was talking earlier about the pause to receive insight and knowledge and wisdom? It requires a level of stillness. I'm sorry, I just got sidetracked. It almost feels like, when you're talking to somebody, I'm totally getting off track. I'm sure this is Mercury retrograde. It's confusion. I'm not going to blame that. It's just, it's almost like when you can't hear somebody on a phone and you're like, what? What was that? What was that? I just literally felt like that just happened with my communication. So give me a moment. I was talking about going out in nature. So when you go out in nature, talk to Mother Nature and ask her to show you something. Ask her to be able to send you messages. And like I said, it requires a level of presence. That's the word. Presence, being present, being aware of your surroundings that are around you. Even if there's distraction, even if you're in a spot and there's some kids yelling or somebody's fighting or something, really absorb that. Instead of fighting and resisting it, absorb it. And I'm also feeling like when you're in that space, deep breathing and being able to relax relax, and being mindful of your whole physical body being able to relax. A lot of you, I'm feeling maybe tension in your neck and shoulders, constriction in your body, your abdominal muscles clenched, really just from a place of like stress or restriction. So starting with, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. My dog, he's got a little bit of asthma. If you can start with taking from some deep breaths and just relaxing and releasing the tension in your body. That alone, that 1-minute practice throughout the day can make a huge difference in your life. All right, let me get on with this because I'm feeling I'm just getting distracted. Ooh, stand by your commitment. Pink lily. You're strong enough to keep the promise that you've made. Don't back out now. Your angels believe in you. So I think we're speaking to the challenge of the spiritual growth, right? And the addictions and the distractions of, oh, this is too hard. It's too painful. It's too much. I don't know what I'm doing. This is a message that says, yes, you do. We're with you. We've got your back. Stand by your commitment on your spiritual journey. If you have made some commitments to do something, or let's say you're like, okay, that's it. I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to talk to myself better, or I'm going to get out in nature. They're saying stand by your commitments that you make for yourself, but you've got to make peace with them. They can't come from a place of punishment because in a place of restriction, or else you're just going to rebel against it. So if you can see exercise or eating healthy as a way to nourish your body, as an act of self-love, and being able to do things and listening to your body on how much you need of something, how much you need of walking, how much you need of stillness, being able to be completely aware will help you follow through and commit to these practices that are just going to help you overall. All right. Overall, soul. What does the collective, the Earth Angel soul, need you to know? Overall message as we conclude this reading. Again, I apologize for my humanness. I shouldn't apologize for my humanness. But you get to see it live. See, I can laugh at myself. All right. I mean, what are you if you can't laugh at yourself, right? Okay, let's get into it. So, what message do you have for the collective? What is the most important message they need to hear, see, feel, and let us know this week, June 28th to July 4th? Oof. There we go. Yes! Yes! See, I'm just kind of laughing at myself, my blips and my mistakes and my humanness, right? It still makes me laugh. It says, I am aware that being happy means that I am on the right path. You know, and when I think about happiness, I feel like happiness is a deep, settled inner knowingness of who you are. So it's not, things can bring us happiness, right? Like maybe you got a nice car, maybe you got a new piece of jewelry, maybe you got some friends that you hang out with, but you really got to know that happiness is a vibration, really inner peace that comes from within, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of the way you feel, you think you should feel, right? You can be happy and sad at the same time. You can be happy and frustrated and in gratitude that you're learning and you're growing and you're evolving. So when you do get those pure moments of happiness, like joy, right? Joy to the world, being able to stop and say, God, more of this in my life, or something even better. Bring me more of this vibration. So even if you can sit in stillness and ask God, show me what your definition of happiness is. And you may see a baby laughing, just genuinely laughing, is happiness, right? You may see a tree blowing in the wind, pure happiness. I'm in this new place, this new apartment, and there's flowers blooming all around me. Every week, it's like a new surprise of new flowers that are blooming, and it's just been magical. That to me is happiness, when I can look and I'm so excited. So there's these buds coming out of this plant that's been out there, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what it blooms into. And so that to me is happiness. Having my dog just look at me and be so ridiculously cute is happiness. So maybe this week, ask God to show you his definition of happiness. And you may be surprised. It's not just that all is well in my world, I have everything I need and I can be happy. It is, I'm on this roller coaster of a ride. I have no idea where I'm going. There's twists and turns everywhere. It's scary and crazy all at the same time. And I can still be happy. So, all right, friends. I'm looking, there's so many flowers this week. And I just think this is like the beauty. Flowers, 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 flowers. So again, this is divine feminine energy of love and nurturing. I just channeled talking about flowers. So buy yourself flowers. I bought some flowers a couple weeks ago, and they're still blooming in my living room and gorgeous. And they're smelling so fragrant, and they're bringing me happiness. Just the beautiful buds. And when I wake up in the living room and I see them, and they're so happy, and it's required a level of me taking care of them, right? And so they can maintain their beauty. So explore happiness this week. Explore Mother Nature and God and Source. Remember, it's all one. We're not talking about anything. You are God, Creator. You are the Divine Mother. You are the Divine Father. You are the inner child. You are the human. You are the ego. You're all facets and multi-dimensional, right? So really the biggest thing is know that you're not separate. And I pray that these types of readings help you understand that. This is why I can channel these messages, and it appeals to so many people, because we are one. We are evolving and growing together, and it's time to band into that and no longer live a life of separation consciousness, right? Live as a fully conscious being, knowing that, God isn't outside of you. It isn't a separate being. It isn't something that you need to do things for, to please. It is part of you. It is the highest vibration of unconditional love that flows through you, the soul. It's all one. And once you have that connectedness, it really brings this level of bliss, this level of happiness that a lot of us haven't been allowed to experience because of this spiritual growth we've been on. All right, so I think I've said enough. I'm going to close space thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, Father, Mother, Love, and all their holy beings of light that assisted. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started today continue for as long as it needs to be done. Mind, body, spirit, and emotions in all ways. All right, friends. So all the links you need on how to connect with me, how to email me, connect with me on social media, the subscription program, the cards that I'm using, it's all in the box below. So I love you so much. Thank you for showing up and sharing your energy with me. It really, truly is a joy. Remember that God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.